There's a lot of uncertainties in business. A few that I could think of on a macro level would be the economic climate, the market dynamics, or how your target market is responding to your business, the competitive landscape, which makes it either harder or easier for you to sell, depends on the number of options that your customers have. But on a micro level, as a business owner, you can also feel unsure about client retention, for example. You might be worried thinking, how long will your client actually stay with you? Is it going to be 3 months, 6 months, 12 months? Pricing dynamics is another one. Can you charge 2x your current price? Wouldn't that turn your prospects away? Or if you're not charging high enough, are you leaving money off the table? The other one that I could think of would be sales velocity. How fast can you close your next client if you're working with two, three clients right now and churn is always a possibility? And in fact, it's inevitable. If one drops, how soon can you close another one? With all of these uncertainties, it actually makes it a valid concern to ask, how can you guarantee your sales success? Obviously, there's no real certainty in this world. And if you ask me, maybe it's part of what makes life and running a business exciting, because typically the way these uncertainties affect us is it brings us a lot of anxiety. And that's fair, because if you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, it makes you wonder what are the possibilities. And there's a tendency for our brain to also focus on the negative possibilities. But what I always try to do is think about, what about flipping the narrative and look at what are the positive possibilities? In either way, I found that if you really want to shift the guarantee elements to your favor, you need to focus on the things that you can control. In business, whether you accept it or not, nobody's coming to save you. If you want to get better with sales, the primary responsible person is yourself. Of course, there are many other resources that you can tap into if you want to fast track your improvement, if you want to like increase the level of assurance that you can have in your business. But I want to like zero in on the three guarantees or three guarantee drivers, I would say, that help me scale my agency to six figures. And I thought this is the right time because we're entering the last part of the year almost. We're entering the Burr months, as we like to call it here in the Philippines. And usually, Burr months become the time where people are starting to already celebrate and feel festive about things. But in business, usually it's when you feel like you have the last leg to push some more and get more of those sales coming in. So let's talk about these three guarantee elements that you can do. First is your ability to see long term. My belief is everyone has the power to succeed. That includes you and I. But not everyone has the patience to wait for success. And that is probably one of the single primary source of our anxiety. We do something, we try, for example, test a new sales strategy. Couple of months later, you don't see results. All of a sudden, you're thinking, this is not working. A simple solution to this, it's simple but not easy, is by envisioning the kind of life and business you want for yourself in the next 3 to 5 years. Do you want more clients? Do you want lesser clients but with higher profit? Do you want to have more time with your family? Do you want to scale up to being like a 12-month agency like what I had a few years ago? Or do you want to shift down to being a solopreneur like where I'm at now? When you think long term, you allow yourself more opportunities to win, which in turn eases off the pressure on your shoulders because now you realize and you accept that overnight success is a myth. I just recently saw a clip of Bradley Cooper with Spike Lee talking about there are no shortcuts to success. All the successful people that we're seeing, every single one of them had to go through struggles, had to go through doubts, had to go through what Seth Godin would call the valley of death, where everything just seems to be against your favor. So, but if you think at the horizon at a much wider and longer range, suddenly you feel like, okay, maybe this is just a phase. If I'm failing right now, I can still learn from this. And then the next month and the next quarter, the next half of the year, the next year, even, you're going to do better. So that's the first thing, your ability to see long term. Second is, and you might hate me for this because this is a cliche, but it's for real, your willingness to put in the work. So 3 months ago, I enrolled myself back into the gym. When I became a father, I always had the excuse that I didn't have time. I need to focus on running my company and then helping out with caring for a daughter, etc. But finally, I went back to the gym. The first 7 days were horrible, super horrible. The next seven were a little bit better. You know, I'm getting the hang of it. I'm having better and proper form. The next 60 days were super boring. Super boring. Why? Every time I come home, I don't see any abs coming out. Every time I look in the mirror, I don't see like a picture perfect model like body. Yet, I kept showing up, waking up 7 a.m. each day and putting in the reps. I was getting pushed and still getting pushed by my trainer, and I was trying to improve every single time. So, why am I sharing this with you? It's the same with your business. There are things that you would probably consider as invisible results because you go to the gym once, twice, thrice, several times, and every single day you're not seeing the results. But if you go on the right course of action, you complement it with consistency, and if you're doing the right things properly, there's no doubt in my mind that you're gonna get results. And in fact, every single day that you're showing up, you're doing your outbound, you're jumping on sales calls, you're practicing how to sell your service better, you're taking risks to charge higher fees, you're getting results already. It might be quote unquote invisible and slow progress, but I assure you, your efforts will compound, and that what ultimately leads to lasting success. The last thing that I want to share with you that hopefully could help you guarantee your success or your sales success is your hunger to improve with selling. If I ask you right now, what is your primary role as a creative entrepreneur, as an agency founder, or as a business owner in general? Is it strategizing? Is it marketing? Is it personal branding? Is it client delivery? If you ask me, the primary role that you have if you want to grow your business, it's selling. It's literally the number one factor of whether your sales will grow or not. And if you don't have a lot of sales, then you're in a bad spot. But if you're growing your sales, then you can be more at ease that you're going to grow your business and get to the kind of life that you want. So if you want to guarantee your sales growth, you need to guarantee that you will learn, fail, and improve. It took me 8 months of failing to close my first $17,000 client. Sure, in the first 3 months, I closed my first $5,000 client, but to get to 3x that certain rate took me 8 months of failing. Then another 6 months to close my first 25K client. You can probably imagine in between, I had several ejections, moments of, I wish I've done this sales call that way. I wish I've closed this client this way. Because you learn in hindsight, right? The only 2020 vision is when you're looking back. And then there were so many days where when I felt like quitting, but I kept going anyway. All of these things became foundational to how I do sales now. Learning about pricing, the psychology behind price anchoring, the principle of loss pain, uh, and many other things that I now teach my clients, my students, and how I've helped my clients 2x their sales or revenues and some hitting 5K MRR in a few months. All of these things for me to tell you that guaranteeing your success or guarantee in general is not about whether it's going to happen or not. It's about whether you're willing to make it happen or not. And that to me is probably the most powerful guarantee that you could ever give yourself when you rely on your own capabilities, your own willingness, and your own dedication to keep going, keep learning, keep growing, no matter what. So now the question for you is, what is it going to be? So I hope you enjoy this conversation and this gives you a little bit of boost. And if you ever need help in terms of growing your sales, charging higher fees, feel free to reach out to me. You can sign up to my email list where you can get daily email tips. I send regular sales tips. And you can also follow me on LinkedIn at Leonard Grape, where I post daily. And it's all about how to help you grow your sales. I hope you enjoyed this conversation. And thank you again for taking the time to be here. I'll see you in the next one.